You're lying in bed, phone still in hand, convincing yourself this will be the last video. You said that an hour ago, before Maghrib, before Isha. Now it's late. Your chest feels heavy, and you're trapped in that same familiar cycle again. You know the one, where guilt creeps in, and you feel like you've let yourself down yet again. I've been there, that point where you're just scrolling and something flashes by. You know you should look away, but you don't. It's like your mind switches to autopilot. Your thumb keeps swiping, your heart beats faster, and before long, you've ended up in a place you promised yourself you'd never return to. It's not only about desire. It's also that quiet inner whisper that makes sin seem small, like a quick glance isn't such a big deal. But deep down, you know it's corroding something within you. That's why prayer feels distant, why the Qur'an sounds flat, like it's not reaching your heart anymore. Here's the truth. You're not evil, and you're not beyond help. You're just caught, and Allah knows that. Those feelings you carry weren't given to punish you. They're the proof that your heart still works, that you're still reachable. These 5 verses I'm about to share with you, they're not meant to shame or scold you. They're meant to hold you. They're like a close friend shaking your shoulders and saying, "Wake up. You're made for better than this." They're heavy, yes, but they're healing too. If you're ready to break the loop, to stop feeling like a stranger in your own faith, stay with me. These verses will light a path back to yourself. Number 1. The desires you excused are now your chains. You didn't fall into sin overnight. It started subtly. A harmless post, a reel, a crush you told yourself wasn't serious. You convinced yourself it's nothing, and that inner voice agreed. Just looking, just scrolling, just talking, just this once. But now it's been months, maybe longer, and what you're carrying is heavier than you imagined. The scary part? It doesn't feel like a choice anymore. You grab your phone like it's instinct. You promise yourself you'll stop, but you keep going. You delete the app, reinstall it hours later. That's how lust works. It doesn't break you in one go. It slowly numbs you. Allah speaks directly to this in Surah Al-Jathiyah 45:23. Have you seen the one who takes his desires as his God? This isn't just poetic. It's clinical. When your desire tells you when to watch, what to fantasize about, who to follow, and you obey without thinking, that's not freedom. That's subtle enslavement. But this verse isn't just a slap. It's a mirror. Not so you hate yourself, but so you realize who's been driving your choices. Not your soul, not your values. Just a habit disguised as need. Recognizing that is the beginning of healing. Number 2, lust doesn't just cloud you, it rewires you. You probably didn't even notice when it started. A funny video, a catchy beat, a vibe, then another, and another. And slowly, real life began to feel dull. A wedding doesn't move you. A khutbah feels flat. A good woman doesn't catch your heart because your mind has been conditioned to crave a different kind of stimulation. What used to bring you peace, meaning connection, sincerity, now barely moves you. That's not because you stopped caring. It's because your emotional bandwidth is taken. In Surah Sa'd 38:26, Allah warns, "Do not follow your desires, or they will lead you away from the path of Allah." It's not only a caution, it's a diagnosis. When you give your desire free rein, it becomes your direction. That's the real danger. Not the one-time fall, but the repeated patterns that become your default. Your gaze wanders, your fingers search, your mind drifts. And now You don't even have to think about it. But here's what no one told you. Just like your mind was trained to crave this, you can train it to stop. That's what these verses do. They're not just about quitting, they're about rewiring. Gradually, consistently, until what you crave isn't the darkness, but the light. Number 3. Shaitan doesn't start with a lie. He starts with a thought. Shaitan rarely begins with outright rebellion. He starts with something softer, a suggestion. It's just a glance. You're not watching anything bad anymore. You've grown. You can handle this. That's how he tricked Adam, with a seemingly harmless offer. Shall I show you the tree of eternity and a kingdom that never decays? Surah Taha 2120. It sounded noble, elevated, and that's how the whisper comes to you too. Not as a temptation, but as a test you think you're strong enough to pass. But that's not strength. It's ego dressed as control. And suddenly, you're back in the same loop, same algorithm, same excuses. It feels like progress. But it's really just a shinier prison. That's why Allah tells us, do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan. Verily, he is your clear enemy. Surah Al-Baqarah 2168. He doesn't push you in. He lets you drift, step by step, from innocence to curiosity, from looking to lingering, from guilt to numbness. Lust doesn't crash through your life. It sneaks in through the side door. But now that you see it, you can finally start shutting it. It doesn't come crashing in. It creeps in quietly. So if you find yourself letting things slide, if your boundaries keep shifting, if the explanations you give yourself sound more convincing than your faith, stop. Ask yourself, whose influence am I under right now? Because sometimes the voice inside your head doesn't actually belong to you. And what feels like freedom might just be another form of bondage. Number 4. You didn't mean to fall back into it. You were just trying to dull the ache. You weren't planning on slipping. You were simply exhausted, feeling isolated, or just plain bored. So you reached for your phone, intending to scroll for a few harmless minutes. And that's when it pulled you in. The algorithm reads you better than you'd like to admit, even when you act like it doesn't. And in that instant, giving in to desire didn't feel like disobedience. It felt like comfort. That's the hidden snare. When you're overwhelmed or anxious, temptation starts to disguise itself as a way out. Not a thrill, but a distraction. Not rebellion, but release. And the trap tightens when you try to walk away. You uninstall the app, you block the pages, you look away. And for a while, you feel grounded. But then the crash hits, not physically, but emotionally. You're irritable, you're restless, your focus slips, and you feel this invisible heaviness. That same flame you used to put out with desire starts burning inside of you instead. And most people, they give in again. Because nobody taught us that misused desire becomes a substance. The more you indulge it to feel better, the more it rewires you, and not in your favor. Do not even come near indecency, whether public or private. Surah Al-An'am 6:151. Notice how it says, don't even go near it, not even a glance toward the edge. Islam doesn't just safeguard you from the sin itself. It protects you from the slow drift toward it, the part we label as coping. Now here's where psychology and the Qur'an meet. Repeated exposure to lust changes how you react emotionally. What once shocked you becomes regular. What once disturbed you becomes your new threshold. That's not your essence. That's just the fire demanding more fuel. It never ends with just a spark. So next time the urge creeps in, and you think about calming your restlessness with something forbidden, ask yourself, am I trying to heal what's burning inside me? Or am I just throwing more gasoline on it? Because genuine relief never leaves you feeling ashamed. It leaves you in peace. Number 5, lust doesn't just rob you of pleasure. It quietly kills your purpose. That emptiness you feel after giving in, it's deeper than guilt. It's not only about the act, it's the silence that follows. Because somewhere within, you sense that you were made for more. But lust never mentions that part. It offers you easy comfort and hides the cost. You lose time chasing illusions. You skip salah because you feel unworthy to stand before Allah. You drift from your dreams, your people, even from yourself. And when all the noise dies down, all that remains is regret. Why? Because lust doesn't just trap your physical body, it derails your entire direction. Think of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. He had every reason to give in. He was young, alone, and the one tempting him held power. And yet, what did he say? My Lord, prison is more beloved to me than what they call me to. Surah Yusuf 12:33. He wasn't afraid of being exposed. He feared becoming someone unrecognizable to his Lord. That mindset, not fear but clarity, is what overcomes lust. Lust doesn't begin by awakening your urges. It begins by clouding your focus. And for many, that's the real damage. You stop writing your goals down. You stop making dua. You stop dreaming with conviction. Because your heart has been reduced to chasing images on a screen. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Purpose doesn't vanish, it just gets buried. And every time you resist the pull, even if you slip now and then, you're slowly uncovering the person Allah always intended you to become. That's why this final verse isn't a threat. It's an invitation to return, an invitation to choose a new path, an invitation to reclaim the version of yourself that was never meant to be lost. The version that emerges when lust no longer holds the wheel. Now let's bring this home. What you decide after hearing these words is where transformation begins. So if you're still here, maybe that means something. You didn't scroll past, you didn't look away. You stayed. And maybe that means you're not just someone stuck in a struggle. Maybe you're someone finally ready to rise out of it. You're done with the fake highs. Done clearing your browser and wiping your tears. Done feeling like your fajr is stuck in traffic while your desires take the driver's seat. But here's what the Qur'an just reminded you. Your soul was never meant to run on shame. Allah didn't send down these verses to crush your spirit. He sent them to shake you awake, to steady your heart, to clean your vision so you could finally see again. Because the moment you can say from your soul, Ya Allah, I don't want to resist you anymore, that's when the healing really begins. And the cycle you thought had you forever, it starts to break. Not because you forced your way out, but because something deeper than your desire finally clicked. So if any part of this touched a truth inside you, don't let it pass with the next scroll. Leave a small dua below. Say, Ya Allah, cleanse my heart. Or just write, Ameen. That one word might reach someone else's heart in ways you can't imagine. And if there's a friend, sibling, or someone you care about who needs this but won't say it, send it quietly. No lecture, no judgment, just a lifeline. We're all crawling through this storm. Let's not walk it alone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.